The Crown's Call, Tales of Valor and Magic. Part I, The Knight's Quest. The grand throne room of Queen Elvira shimmered with an ethereal glow, its high-vaulted ceilings adorned with luminous crystals that reflected the fiery hues of the eternal torches. The queen sat upon a throne forged from the roots of the sacred oak, her crown shimmering like a constellation. Her emerald green eyes were piercing yet kind as they gazed upon the three visitors kneeling before her: Sir Alden, the Knight of the Crescent Blade; Lyria, the swift archer of the Moonvale Woods; and Magnus, the enigmatic mage of the Celestial Order. Each had come to present their triumphs and receive new missions from the Queen herself. Sir Alden rose first, his armor gleaming with the golden light of the room. His sword, etched with glowing runes, was strapped to his side. "My queen," he said, his voice firm yet humble, "the demon that plagued the eastern villages has been vanquished. Its cursed blade lies shattered at the foot of the great altar." Queen Elvira nodded approvingly. "Your valor brings peace to my people. But evil never rests. I have another task for you, Sir Alden. Far beyond the Serpentine Mountains lies the Valley of Shadows, a land cursed and forgotten. It is said that the Heartstone of Illumina, an ancient relic that holds the power to banish darkness, lies hidden there. I charge you to recover it and bring it back to the realm." The journey begins. The Valley of Shadows was a place of whispered legends and deep foreboding. As Sir Alden embarked on his quest, he was joined by an unexpected companion, Kyle, a mischievous fey creature with dragonfly wings and a penchant for riddles. Kyle had once been a guardian of the valley before it fell into darkness, and he offered his guidance, albeit with cryptic advice. "I warn you, Knight," Kyle said as they approached the valley's entrance, a narrow gorge shrouded in an eerie mist. "The Heartstone is not unguarded. And what lies within the shadows does not welcome the light." Alden stepped forward, his resolve unwavering. "Whatever challenges await, I will face them." The mist parted as they ventured deeper into the valley. Trees twisted into grotesque forms, their bark resembling anguished faces. Whispers filled the air, and shadows moved as if alive. Their path led to a ruined temple at the valley's heart. The structure was covered in vines, and a faint, pulsating light emanated from within. Kyle stopped short. "The Guardian awaits," he said. "This is where I leave you." With a flutter of his wings, he vanished into the mist. The Guardian of the Heartstone. Inside the temple, Alden found the Heartstone resting on a pedestal, its golden light battling the encroaching shadows. But as he reached for it, a monstrous figure emerged from the darkness. It was a shadow wraith, a being of pure malevolence, its form shifting like smoke and its eyes burning with crimson fury. "Who dares disturb the balance of shadows and light?" the wraith hissed. "I am Sir Alden of the Crescent Blade," the knight declared. "I come for the Heartstone to bring hope to my realm." The wraith laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Hope? You seek to steal the light that keeps this cursed land in check. Foolish mortal, you do not understand the consequences of your actions." The wraith lunged, its clawed hands slicing through the air. Alden drew his sword, the runes flaring to life. The battle was fierce and unrelenting, the wraith's shadowy form proving elusive. It attacked with tendrils of darkness that seemed to sap Alden's strength. As the night faltered, the whispers of the valley grew louder. They weren't malevolent, they were voices of those who had been trapped by the darkness, urging him to rise. Alden tightened his grip on his sword and, with a burst of resolve, channeled his will into the blade. The runes blazed brighter, and with a powerful strike, he cleaved through the wraith. The test of the Heartstone. The wraith dissipated into shadows, but as Alden approached the Heartstone, a voice echoed in his mind. To wield the Heartstone, you must prove your heart is pure. What do you desire most, knight? The knight hesitated, his hand hovering over the relic. I desire to protect my people and bring peace to the realm. The Heartstone pulsed, enveloping him in its light. In that moment, Alden felt his soul laid bare, his fears, doubts, and hopes illuminated. The relic deemed him worthy, and its golden light infused his blade, transforming it into the blade of Lumina. The return. With the Heartstone in hand, Alden left the valley, the shadows receding in his wake. Kyle reappeared, his mischievous grin replaced by genuine respect. You've done what none before you could. The valley will heal, thanks to you. Upon his return to the Queen's court, Alden presented the Heartstone to Queen Elvira. Its light filled the throne room, a beacon of hope for the kingdom. You have proven yourself once again, Sir Alden, the Queen said, her voice full of pride. Your courage and purity of heart remind us all of the light that can banish even the deepest shadows. Thus ended the first tale, with a lesson carved into history, that true courage lies not in the absence of fear, but in the will to overcome it. Part 2, The Archer's Quest. The golden light of the Heartstone still lingered in the throne room as the Queen turned her gaze to Lyria, the archer of the Moonvale Woods. Clad in supple green leather armor adorned with silver embroidery, Lyria was a vision of grace and precision. Her bow, made from the enchanted branches of the Moonvale sacred tree, glimmered faintly under the crystalline lights of the throne room. My queen, Lyria said, her voice steady and melodic, the wyverns terrorizing the northern borders have been driven away. Their nests were destroyed, and the villagers are safe once more. Queen Elvira inclined her head in acknowledgement. Your aim has saved many lives, Lyria. Yet your skills are needed once more. In the heart of the Evernite marshes lies a forgotten temple, where the Amulet of Winds is said to rest. This relic holds the power to summon tempests and protect our skies from invaders. However, the marsh is treacherous, and the path to the amulet is guarded by ancient forces. You must retrieve it. The Call of the Marsh. The Evernite marshes were a sprawling expanse of murky waters and thick fog, where will-o'-the-wisps danced and eerie calls echoed in the distance. Lyria entered the marsh alone, her footsteps light and deliberate on the narrow wooden planks that wove through the swamp. She hadn't gone far when a haunting melody drifted through the mist. It was the song of the siren of the marsh, a creature said to lure travelers to their doom. Lyria nocked an arrow, her sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. From the shadows emerged a small, amphibious creature with bright golden eyes. It wore a crude tunic and carried a satchel of herbs. You're heading to the temple, aren't you? It croaked. Lyria kept her bow raised. Who are you? I'm Tybe, a swamp guide, the creature said, bowing low. The marsh is no place for strangers. But if you let me, I can lead you safely through. Lyria hesitated, then lowered her bow. Fine. But if this is a trick, my arrows are swift. The trials of the marsh. Tybe proved to be both helpful and frustrating. He navigated the labyrinthine paths of the marsh with ease, but his penchant for stopping to collect herbs or gossip with passing will-o'-the-wisps slowed their progress. Beware of the mud wraiths, Tybe warned as they passed a particularly dark stretch of water. They don't like intruders. As if summoned by his words, the water rippled, and shadowy figures emerged, their bodies made of mud and their glowing eyes fixed on Lyria. She drew her bow, releasing arrows that pierced the air with precision. Yet the mud wraiths reformed with every strike, their bodies melding back together. Use this! Tybe shouted, throwing her a vial of golden powder. Lyria scattered the powder with her next arrow, and as it struck a wraith, it exploded in a burst of light. The creatures dissolved into the marsh with anguished wails. "Tybe, if you had more of this powder, why didn't you say so earlier?" Lyria demanded. Tybe shrugged. "You didn't ask." The Temple of Winds. At last, they arrived at the ruined temple, its stone walls covered in moss and vines. The entrance was guarded by a towering statue of a wind elemental, its eyes glowing faintly. "This is where I leave you," Tybe said, backing away. "Good luck, archer." Lyria ascended the cracked stone steps, her bow at the ready. Inside, the air was still, yet an unnatural tension lingered. The amulet of winds hung in the center of the chamber, suspended in a vortex of swirling air. As she approached, the wind coalesced into the form of a spectral guardian, a translucent figure with wings like a tempest and a face obscured by a swirling helm. "Who seeks the amulet of winds?" the guardian demanded, its voice echoing like a storm. "I am Lyria of Moonvale," she replied. "I seek the amulet to protect my realm." The guardian's eyes flared. "Prove your worth. Only one with true mastery of precision and balance may claim it." The test of the archer. The guardian conjured a series of glowing targets that moved at impossible speeds, disappearing into the winds and reappearing in random patterns. Lyria's task was clear: strike them all before the wind faded. With her heart steady, she drew her bow. Each arrow flew true, slicing through the air with grace. The targets multiplied and danced faster, but Lyria's focus never wavered. She adjusted her aim instinctively, her movements fluid and precise. When the last target shattered, the winds stilled, and the guardian bowed. "You have proven yourself. The amulet is yours." As Lyria reached for the amulet of winds, the vortex dissipated, and the relic rested gently in her hands. Its surface shimmered with shifting patterns, and she felt a surge of power coursing through her. The return. The journey back through the marsh was uneventful, though Tybe appeared briefly to demand payment, a single arrow tipped with moon steel. "For my collection," he said with a grin. Back in the throne room, Lyria presented the amulet of winds to Queen Elvira. The queen held it aloft, its energy resonating with the Heartstone's light. "Your skill and determination have brought us another gift of protection," the queen said. "You are a true guardian of the realm." Lyria bowed, her heart swelling with pride. She had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, proving that precision and balance could overcome even the most chaotic forces. Thus ended the second tale, a lesson in harmony and focus, and a reminder that even the smallest actions, when performed with care, can change the course of destiny. Part 3, The Mage's Quest. The throne room of Queen Elvira grew quiet as Magnus, the mage of the Celestial Order, stepped forward. Cloaked in robes of deep sapphire that shimmered like the night sky, he carried an ancient staff crowned with a glowing crystal orb. His dark eyes were sharp with intellect, but his demeanor carried an air of mystery. "My queen," Magnus said, his voice deep and resonant, "the cursed storms that plagued the southern plains have been dispelled. The skies are clear, and the fields will prosper once more." Queen Elvira regarded him with admiration. "Your wisdom and mastery of the arcane are a boon to this kingdom, Magnus. But your most challenging task yet lies ahead. Beyond the obsidian spires is the labyrinth of eternity, where time itself is distorted. At its heart lies the Chronos Shard, an artifact that can mend the frayed threads of reality. Without it, the realm risks unraveling." Magnus inclined his head. "I accept this task, my queen. I shall return with the shard or not at all. The labyrinth beckons. The obsidian spires loomed against the horizon like jagged claws reaching for the sky. Magnus ascended their steep paths, his staff glowing faintly to guide his way. At the summit, a swirling portal of silver light awaited, the gateway to the labyrinth of eternity. The moment he stepped through, the air changed. The labyrinth was a surreal landscape of shifting corridors and floating platforms. Walls of mirrored crystal reflected distorted versions of Magnus, and echoes of his own footsteps came from impossible directions. The Keeper of Time. As Magnus ventured deeper, he encountered an ancient being, the Keeper of Time, a figure draped in robes of shimmering gold, with an hourglass embedded in its chest. Its voice was both commanding and sorrowful. "Traveler, the labyrinth is not meant for mortal minds. Turn back before you are lost to eternity." Magnus raised his staff. "I cannot. The Chronos shard is needed to save my realm." The Keeper's eyes glowed. "Then you must prove your understanding of time's true nature. 3 trials await, and failure in any will leave you trapped forever." Magnus nodded solemnly. "I am ready." The trials of time. The trial of memory. Magnus was transported to a vision of his past, where he saw himself as a young apprentice studying in the Celestial Tower. He witnessed a moment of failure when he had accidentally unleashed a destructive spell, harming his mentor. The vision spoke to him. "Would you erase this moment of shame and guilt if you could?" Magnus clenched his jaw. "No. This failure taught me humility and the weight of power. Without it, I would not be who I am." The vision dissolved, and the Keeper's voice echoed. "You understand that the past must remain unchanged, for it shapes who we are." The trial of presence. The labyrinth shifted, and Magnus found himself in a timeless void where seconds stretched into hours and hours collapsed into moments. Time itself seemed to attack his mind, filling it with confusion and despair. Focusing his thoughts, Magnus recited an incantation to ground himself. "Anchor the mind, bind to the present, the now is eternal." His clarity returned, and the chaos faded. The Keeper's voice resonated again. "You have mastered the art of living in the present, unshaken by the illusions of time." The trial of foresight. Magnus was shown a vision of the future, the kingdom in flames, Queen Elvira fallen, and his companions defeated. The Chronos shard lay shattered, and darkness consumed the land. The Keeper's voice challenged him. "Would you risk everything to prevent this vision, knowing that some futures cannot be altered?" Magnus gripped his staff tightly. "I will face whatever comes, not because I know I can change it, but because it is my duty to try." The vision faded, and the Keeper appeared before him. "You have shown wisdom and courage. You are worthy of the Chronos shard." The Chronos shard. At the heart of the labyrinth, Magnus found the Chronos shard, a crystalline fragment that pulsed with the rhythm of time itself. The moment he touched it, the labyrinth began to collapse, its corridors folding into themselves. The Keeper's voice called out one last time. "Go, Midge, and remember, time is both a gift and a responsibility." The return. Magnus emerged from the portal at the obsidian spires, the Chronos shard in his grasp. As he descended the mountain, he felt the weight of his journey settle over him, the trials etched into his very soul. When he returned to the throne room, the shard's light joined that of the Heartstone and the Amulet of Winds, their combined energy forming a protective barrier around the realm. Queen Elvira rose from her throne. "Magnus, your wisdom has safeguarded the very fabric of our existence. You have proven that even the most mysterious forces can be tamed with understanding and resolve." Magnus bowed. "The shard is but a tool. It is our choices that define our destiny. The final revelation. As the three heroes stood before Queen Elvira, the artifacts began to resonate, their lights intertwining. The queen smiled, a glimmer of pride in her eyes. Together, you have restored hope to this kingdom. Each of you faced challenges that tested not just your skills, but the essence of who you are. It is a reminder that unity, courage, and wisdom are the greatest forces of all. The throne room erupted in applause from the court, but the three heroes exchanged knowing glances. Their quests had not just saved the realm, they had forged a bond that would endure beyond time itself. Thus ended the third tale, a lesson that the trials of life, though daunting, serve to reveal the true strength within us, and that time, like light and wind, is a force to be respected, not feared. The end.